Welcome back everyone to another episode of Vegetarian Cooking with JJ. In this week's episode, we're going to be traveling to the tiny island Nauru. It's the third smallest island in all of the world, and not too many people are familiar with their cuisine. Why is that? Well, their cuisine is quite simple and they don't have a lot of access to many fruits and vegetables, unfortunately. A lot of their vegetables are just mostly canned and their diet is heavy on the meat and animal products. So in this episode, I'm going to show you how you can veganize Nauruan cuisine. I'm going to be making some vegetable fried rice with some vegan meat and a coconut crusted lime cauliflower. There's some Chinese influence on Nauruan cuisine, because some Chinese people decided to plant their roots there, and there are a few Chinese restaurants on this small island. And I'm sure you'll enjoy these simple recipes, so let's head over to the kitchen and get cooking! Here's our veggie fried rice, vegan tartar sauce, and coconut crusted lime cauliflower. This is what we're going to be making today. You're going to want to cook some rice or get some leftover rice. And we'll chop up some carrots, or you can use frozen carrots. Now I'm dicing up our Spanish onion, just a small portion, about a quarter cup. And you're going to want to mince up your garlic. And we have a quarter cup of frozen peas, and we'll get our quarter cup of frozen corn. And see, we have a quarter cup of carrots, and we'll just mix them together in this bowl. Get 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and a 2nd tablespoon of soy sauce. And we're going to use our agave syrup. We'll get 1 teaspoon. Give it a mix, and we're going to be using our kelp granules. And I'm pouring in about a half teaspoon. Add in 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar, or apple cider vinegar is fine if you don't have the rice vinegar. I'm going to be using our plant-based field roast Italian garlic and fennel sausages. You're going to want to cut them up into nice bite-sized pieces. You can use any veggie sausages of your choice. Heat the stovetop to medium, get our pan nice and hot. Add some oil to our pan. And we want to get our garlic nice and fragrant. Give it a little stir here. And add in our onion. And we're going to add our vegan sausages. Give it a nice stir. And we'll add in our veggies and stir it up. Here's our Just Egg. Our vegan egg is kind of hard to find. I found it at Walmart for a cheap price. Taking the advice of our good friend Jimmy. And you're going to want to pour enough to cover everything in our pan so far. Give it a nice stir. Let it cook for a little bit. There we go, it's firming up nicely, as you can see. Now it's time to add in our rice. You're going to want to gently break it up and mix it in without making too much of a mess. And we'll pour in our sauce. Give it a nice gentle stir. Now we have our white pepper here. I'm turning the heat off. I'm going to sprinkle some on. And I'm tossing in the spring onion. And adding our sesame oil to finish it off. And gently stir it up. And we'll remove our pan from the heat. I'm just pouring in the veggie fried rice into this bowl. Now we'll move on to the next component of this meal. First, we're going to get started with our vegan tartar sauce just to get that out of the way. It's very simple. So we'll just start off with our Earth Island Vegenaize. So we'll just put a half cup of Vegenaize in here in our bowl. And don't worry if you don't use the whole thing, you can always use it for something else, like sandwiches. And I'm just going to use a quarter of a pickle slice, and we're just going to chop it up nicely into tiny pieces. Now, if you're not a pickle person, and I know a few of you are not, you can always make your own sauce. Remember, don't be afraid to use the recipes I share as inspiration, and feel free to put your own spin on things. You may also use relish too if you wish. And I'm going to scoop in a couple of spoonfuls of our chopped pickle, maybe a little bit more. I'll add a half teaspoon of our onion powder, and a couple pinches of salt. And I'll grind on some black pepper. Give it a mix. First, I'm going to cut our lime in half. I'm going to cut one side into wedges. You're welcome to go with the traditional lemon juice for this tartar sauce, but since this is a lime flavored dish, we're going with the lime juice. And I'm just going to squeeze the lime juice from one of the wedges here. Give it a nice stir. And I'll pop it in the fridge. And we can use these lime wedges at the end when we're plating. We're just going to add a 3/4 cup of the breadcrumbs, a 3/4 cup of our dried coconut, it's unsweetened, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, just a little bit less than a teaspoon of salt, probably half a teaspoon, some pepper, dust some cayenne on, add a bit of smoked paprika, a couple dashes. We'll just set that aside. Now I'm gonna go ahead and juice 1 whole lime. And we're gonna get some zest going with our lime peel here. Chop it up nice and fine. And we'll pour our breadcrumb mixture into this bowl. This will make it easier to add in our lime zest. I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons and approximately a teaspoon. And we'll go ahead and give it a nice mix. I'm adding a bit more. We're gonna add our just egg or vegan egg into this bowl. Just eyeball it. And we're gonna pour in our lime juice. We'll set our stovetop to medium. And I'm gonna fill a medium-sized pot up with oil. I'm using peanut oil because it's good for frying. Of course, you're welcome to use vegetable oil. Today I'm using the frozen cauliflower. You're welcome to use regular cauliflower. First we want to coat it with the breadcrumbs, dip it into our vegan egg and back into the breadcrumbs. And repeat with each batch. You're going to want to make sure they're fully coated for safety, because if there's any amount of moisture when you put them in the oil, they're going to splatter. Here's the part that people find most scary, the frying part. You just want to do them in batches, just to be safe. You don't want to plunge them all in at once. Using a utensil such as the one I'm using is helpful. Having a plate ready with paper towel on top is a good idea, so once they're golden brown, you can place them on top. That's not exactly true. Way back in 1904, Chinese people were brought over onto the small island of Nauru by the Pacific Phosphate Company. They were brought over as workers to mine phosphate on this small island. Over the course of the work, the Chinese people were blamed for bringing in epidemics to Nauru. However, they did keep the Chinese people separate from the natives at that time. So it's a mystery as to why these epidemics got spread to the native people, if they were indeed kept separate. I tried to find this information online, and through rigorous searching, I turned up with nothing. So if you know the answer, feel free to share below. Unfortunately, over the course of 5 years, the native population was reduced by 19.35%. Nauru has been stripped due to phosphate mining over the course of many decades. The soil quality on the island is poor and therefore not suitable for crops, and it's no surprise that it's quite expensive to transport produce to this remote island. Therefore, any fresh produce that you do find on the island is quite expensive. And it comes as no surprise, unfortunately, that there's an obesity epidemic on this island as a result. In any event, I wanted to feature this beautiful, small, remote island just to show you the possibilities of how you can veganize things from even the most meat-centric countries. We'll just get our sauce in this nice... Oh, look at the mess I made. I'm trying to make it look nice and I make it look sloppy. What else is new? Now I'm gonna put our coconut crusted lime cauliflower bites on our plate. And that's what we can fit here, because we're gonna put the veggie fried rice on the other side. I'm gonna take this off to be on the safe side, just so I don't make a huge mess. See, I knew I'd make a mess. Some spring onion for the finishing touch, and some chilies for myself here. So you know me, I like things with a bit of spice at least. I like my spice. And here we go. Wedge that in nicely. It's that time again. I get to try it. Woohoo! I'm gonna start with the coconut lime crusted cauliflower. Dip it in our sauce. Simple and delicious. And I do love my lime, so I'm just gonna squeeze some extra lime on here. Oops, I'm losing the... Okay, here we go. Now for our veggie fried rice. So there you have it, a couple of easy, vegan, delicious recipes for you to try out. Remember, if you like this video in any way, shape, or form, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel, feel free to share this video with your family and friends, comment below, let me know where you're tuning in from, let me know if you tried these recipes out or you plan to try these recipes out. I'll be sharing some amazing recipes from around the globe with you every Monday, so stay tuned.